Okay, we're gonna go ahead and get started. What's up?
That's your color, girl.
What?
That's your color.
Oh, this blue. Brian got this for me for Mother's Day. It says, "This mom runs on caffeine, Target, and Amazon Prime." That's my life. So anyways, I have some good questions here that I'm excited about you answering. And if we want to go quick, we can, or if you want to elaborate, feel free. Okay, so what is like the thing that you are most proud of in this business?
That's a hard question because then anytime I say anything like that, I feel like I'm bragging about something. I think I would say the type of like team I've created, like the atmosphere, and obviously I haven't like created this team, but like just we have such like an open, honest relationship within our team. We have just friendships on, no, it doesn't matter what leg you're on, like they're all friends, like they're going and flying each other's houses, and like they never even would have known each other if it wasn't for this business. And like they have like 3 different enrollers, you know, and it's just cool. Like I love that about my team, and especially I can appreciate that because I didn't used to have that. That was something that's been more recent in the last like year and a half or so. And so that was something that I literally prayed for and that the Lord answered. So that was really cool.
Awesome. Okay, what's one thing that you wish you would have done differently?
Led better at the beginning. I think I didn't know how to lead at the beginning. I still don't really feel like I know what to do as a leader. I don't think we'll ever really know, like, yes, I'm a great leader right now. And I think if you are, you should probably like check yourself. But, you know, I didn't know what the heck I was doing. And I made a lot of mistakes at the beginning, and I still make a lot of mistakes now, but I learned from those mistakes. So it was good that they happened, because I think if I had just like, you know, felt like I knew how to be a leader at the beginning, I never would be the leader that I am right now. But I would enroll people, customers. I didn't take care of them at first. I didn't know I was supposed to, why I don't know, but I just didn't know I was supposed to. I was never taught that. I signed up distributors who I would not ever say some of the things that I said to them. I was just very and I think that I like took every single person who joined my business and spoke to them how I needed to be spoken to and trained them how I would want to be trained. And that's not how everybody learns. And so I think just now I'm like more in tune with like, okay, this person needs this. This person needs this. Whenever I approach this person about this, I can be really tough on them, but this person I have to really like love them and FaceTime them and encourage them. And so I think that that's something that you learn, but I definitely did not do that at first. A lot of people quit. I didn't build my team correctly, and like chart wise, I didn't know what the heck I was doing chart wise. Like there's just a lot of things that I would have done differently as far as leading my team, building my team, and that kind of stuff at the beginning.
Yeah. I always tell people, I'm like, you know, that old rule, like treat others how you want to be treated. Like it's actually not true, because, you know, the way I want to be treated, just like you were saying, oh my God, I have that exact cream soda.
It makes me feel like I'm cheating on keto, but I'm not.
It's so good. Anyways. And so, you know, the way you want to be treated isn't necessarily the way somebody else wants to be treated. Like I need somebody to deal with me direct, but like, and that's how I dealt with everybody at first, you know, when I was leading, but other people need you to do it softer. And so when you're leading, you have to adjust to what other people want in order to get the desired result. And so that's definitely something that I can relate to. What's the best book you've read or listened to?
I was just doing this with some of my leaders, but I'm reading 2 books right now that I'm obsessed with, and y'all are going to think I'm like stupid for just not reading one of these, but I just started reading You Are a Badass, and I'm obsessed with it. Obviously, shocker. Like everybody's like, yeah, I've read it 3 times. Like, anyway, I just started reading it. I'm obsessed. I had this one in like a hard copy, and then I got the Secrets of a Millionaire Mind on Audible the other night. Dude, I'm obsessed. Those
I know.
are amazing.
It's
I mean, there's
so
other
good.
books too, like those are really good self-development books. I have other like biblical books that I like too, but I feel like a lot of this stuff is crazy is biblical. So
Yeah, for sure. I always tell people, I'm like, really, you could just read the Bible with all this stuff that self-development books teach you, but this is just sometimes more applicable and you get to hear different people's stories within it. Okay, so who are your role models or mentors?
In this business or in life?
Both.
So obviously Cammie is one of them. I tell people all the time, like, I just want to make people feel how Cammie makes people feel. That's like my favorite attribute that she has. And I'm gonna like get emotional, which is so weird. Oh, I never thought about anything. What is happening? So, but like, it's just because she makes you feel so special. If y'all ever met Cammie in person, she doesn't, gosh, she's like freaking like the like best ever, and she never acts like it. Like, you would never know the role that she has. You would never know the money that she makes. And just meeting her, she's so down to earth, and she just makes every single person feel like they're the only person in the room, that they're the most important person that is in her presence, you know, and she has so many other things to do, but I've never seen her rush away from a conversation before, which is why her assistants have to come grab her very, very often. Whenever she's in public, they're like, we have to go, because she won't shorten a conversation or rush through a conversation.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that I love about her, is just the time, and like, she's just, I don't know, she's just someone who goes above and beyond. Like, if you ask her a question, she's like, yeah, this is what I would do, and is willing to spend 15 or 30 minutes on the phone with you, and then send you something that will help you, and then follow up and ask if you read it. Like, that's just the kind of person that she is. So I think that, I guess, like, that's just the first person that pops in my head, is she's like a huge role model of mine for that reason.
Yeah, for sure. And just like how she's like a producer, like she has like that ability to make everybody feel special, but she also has the ability to get to work and get it done, you know? So I love that about her. Okay. So, how do you stay motivated, and do people tell you no? And if they do, like, what has gotten you through those tough times? Especially because you were at Ruby for like, what, a year?
I was at Ruby for a year. I was at Diamond for a year. And a triple for a year.
So like, I mean, how did you kind of like know it was going to be worth it? Because if you're sitting at Ruby, you know, you're making decent money, but it's, you know, not how you hear all these people who have quick success stories, and you compare yourself and your story's not as fast as other people. Like, you know, what got you through those times?
So it's kind of a progression. So this is the third rank that I've sat at for a year, and I'm not complaining, you know, it's fine. But I think it was different for each one. So for Ruby, we'll start there. I sat at Ruby for a year. And I think, like, during that time, I was still working 2 jobs and doing this business. I never once did not complete my steps to success. I said that really weird. Basically, every single month I completed my steps to success is what I was trying to say. But I never didn't work that. Like, I was consistent, like so consistent. I can still say that. Like, I wouldn't have changed anything about my work ethic back then. And so it just wasn't happening. And so I was getting frustrated, and I was questioning, you know, whether or not I was supposed to be in this business. I was questioning whether or not I was good at this. I was wondering, you know, is this all I am? Like, is this all I will ever be, is just a Ruby? Like, I joined this business to be a Ruby for the rest of my life. And, you know, we're taught to be super thankful. So I was thankful, and I was glad about the $500 that was coming in, because that was literally the difference between me putting groceries on credit cards and not. And so that $500 literally saved my life. But I wanted more than that, because at that point I had caught the vision of this company and what it could do. And so I wasn't complacent. I was happy, but I was not content or complacent with where I was. So I did almost quit. And a lot of people don't know that, but I share it a lot. Like, just, I literally, in October 2015, so it was literally a year, my 1-year anniversary, I was still a Ruby. And people that had joined after me, were already presidentials. People that had joined after me had already been diamond or double. So it was just crazy to look at all these people who had such fast success. And I was like, dude, like, what is wrong with me? So I almost did quit a year after I joined. And the only reason that I didn't quit, y'all, is because they had a cruise. They had like this thing where you could earn a cruise. And I worked my stinking tail off because I had been working 2 jobs for the last year and a half, and I had had 1 day off like every month and a half. And so I was stinking sick of working. And if somebody sent me on a free cruise, you bet I was working so hard to get on that cruise. And never been on a cruise before, never been to Mexico before, but that's where we were going. And so I was excited, and I earned my spot on that free cruise. And that was announced the month that I almost quit. And so I was like, dang it. I was like, I can't quit and go on this cruise, and I'm going on this cruise, so I guess I'm not quitting. And so I literally didn't quit for that one reason, and I'm not kidding you. That cruise saved my life. And I went on that cruise, and it was not a training. It was not a one team, one mission. It was not a conference. But y'all, being around people, and this is why I always tell my team to get to events, being around those people gave me such confidence and such, I don't even know what the word is, but like I just had my fire back, and I was like, I'm not quitting. Every single person said I would. Everybody told me I would quit. No one told me that I would be successful with this. They all laughed at me when I did this, and I was like, I almost quit and proved every single one of them right. I was this close to proving every person right. And so I was like, heck no, I'm going to prove them wrong. And so I had my fire back, and 2 months later, I promoted from Ruby to Emerald, Emerald to Diamond in the same day, earned bonuses that was enough for me to quit my job. So I did. And then I sat at Diamond for a year. And that was the year whenever I was talking back about like leadership and like how I would have done that whole thing differently. That was really what I was talking about. That whole year, there was just so many things that I learned about building a team, like chart-wise, how to build, or like just leaders. And like I had spent so much time, and I think this is why I didn't promote quick like I wanted to, was that I focused on the people who weren't working. Whenever I was a diamond, I went diamond, and I started chasing after the people who were running away from this business. And so then that was putting me further and further away from my goals, and like looking at all these people and being like, that girl's on fire, that girl's on fire, that girl's on fire. They got this. And I would turn the other way, and I'd run after the people that weren't doing anything, which I know now is the dumbest thing you can ever do. And you have to just let those people go. But anyways, so I wanted to quit then too. And I seriously almost did quit again whenever I was a diamond. And Derek is the only reason that I stayed in this business as my fiance. He said, you are going to be an ambassador diamond, top 5 income earner. He said this back in 2016. And he said, you're going to be an ambassador diamond, top 5 income earner. Don't you dare quit. He said, do not quit. And he was the one that pushed me and told me that I would be great at this. And it's still not an ambassador diamond, still not top 5 income earner, but I'm singing closer than I was on that day because I didn't quit. And so there are times that I wanted to quit, but now looking back, what I would have said to my 2015 self sitting at Ruby for a year was, you joined this business for $100 a month, and now you're complaining because you're making $600 a month. Like, be grateful for what you have. And if I was sitting in a room with no doors and no windows and no computer, and like I had social media, working my business, whatever, I never would have known, if I wasn't following any single person on Facebook or Instagram with this business, I never would have known that I wasn't going as fast as somebody else. I never would have known that I wasn't going fast enough, because fast or fast enough is relative. I would have had nothing to compare it to. If I was sitting in a room by myself, I never would have known, oh, I'm not going fast enough. I would have thought that I was going right on pace, which guess what? You are, because your journey is your journey. And so there are times that I wanted to quit, but now looking back, I'm so glad that I didn't. And now going forward, having sat at triple for a year, I remember what I learned when I went Ruby. I remember what I learned when I went Diamond, and not one single time have I ever questioned me being in this company, or if this was the right company for me. Never once have I ever questioned that. I will never leave It Works. I will never quit this business or do any other business. This is my home, and this is where God's called me to, and it doesn't matter how long it takes me to get to the top in this business or how long I sit at a certain rank. If I'm consistently doing the things that it takes every single day to get to the next rank, I know that I'll get there. And so people are going to tell you no. My phone's full of people who told me no today. You know, like people are going to tell you no all the time. No, I don't want to be a product tester. No, I don't want to do this. But at the end of the day, they're not telling me no. And I know that now. You know, I didn't know that before, but that's why you consistently grow with this business. That's why you're consistent in doing the work, because you realize this stuff over time and, you know, hear it from me so you don't have to waste a year trying to figure it out for yourself, because that's what I had to do. They're not telling you no. If I come and ask you, you know, hey, do you want a hot dog? And you're like, no, thanks. I'm not offended. You didn't want a hot dog. It's not because you didn't want my friendship, you know, like, so I'm not offended by that. Like, so don't get offended whenever you ask people, you know, hey, do you want to be a product tester, product model, whatever? And they're like, no, thank you. Like, they don't get offended. Like, what? They just aren't really interested right now, you know? Like, people are going to tell you no, which I want to talk about a little bit later. But, you know, they're going to tell you no, but they're not saying no to you. They're saying no to the opportunity for now. And now I've gotten to the point where I just feel bad for those people who say no, thank you. Because I'm like, dude, you're so missing out on these products. You're missing out on this business, dude. Like, I don't feel bad for myself. I don't give myself a pity party. And Zoe, one of my diamonds, just commented and said she told me no for a year. Every single one of the people that I signed up told me no for a very long time. And so, but I stayed consistent and I stayed excited. And so I don't know what the original question was. And it was like a couple of different things. But one of the things about motivation, like how to always stay motivated, I don't think you're ever going to always be motivated, honestly. Like, I don't think you're ever going to always 100% feel motivated and wake up every morning ready to just jump on this and just get excited and do this. I don't think you're ever going to feel that way. And so don't feel like there's something wrong with you if you don't. I think you have to remember that you have to do the work and the feelings will follow, because guess what? This morning I woke up and I did not want to do anything. I'm just being honest with y'all. Like, I was like, dude, like, I just want to crawl in bed and just sleep all day. And I just want to not do anything. But I worked my tail off today because I didn't want to do it. I worked twice as hard, signed up more customers than I have in forever. You know, like, I talked to more people than I have. I helped more people, talked to more people about being a distributor. I remembered my why. I remembered why I love doing what I do. I remember why I've done this for almost 4 years now. I got my passion back. And so sometimes you don't always feel motivated. You just have to do the actions and the feelings will follow.
Yeah, for sure. I think too, a lot of times, like I see people all the time and they're like, what am I doing wrong? Like, why am I not signing people? And sometimes it's just a matter of you haven't been talking to enough people. It's nothing in strategy that you're doing wrong. It's not something that, you know, you're doing. You just need to talk to more people and do it more. And the more you do it, the better you're going to get. So what do you do, like, when you're dealing with your team and people are telling you, I'm working so hard, but their efforts or the results don't necessarily match up with what they're telling you?
That their what doesn't always match up?
Like the results they're getting, and they're like, oh my gosh, like, this is, you know, I'm working so hard, I'm messaging 100 people a day, and they don't sign any customers the whole month, and you're like, you're probably not messaging 100 people a day. So what's like your best strategy for that?
So it depends, and like I said, it depends on the person, because I know kind of how to talk to different people different ways. But I guess just like a general answer, if they're saying, you know, oh my gosh, like, I'm not signing anybody, my first answer is, how many people are you talking to? Because if you are like doing all the right things, you're not talking to enough people, like, you can send the right message, or you can, you know, say, you can go up to somebody at the store, but if you're only going up to one person at the store every year, you're not going to sign anybody, you know, or if you're only sending out 10 messages a month, like, you're not going to sign anybody. And so I ask them how many people they're signing, then they tell me, and I usually try to encourage them to double whatever number that they said. And honestly, it doesn't take that long to send out 100 messages, and so that's typically what I try to do every day, and I usually get to that goal because I just message for like 10 minutes at a time, 2 or 3 times a day. That's really all it takes. And if you're just super consistent, like dedicated and focused on that one thing, you can do that. But I try to get them to double their amount of messages. And if they do tell me like, oh, I'm messaging 100 people a day, well, I have no way to prove that they are or that they aren't, other than the fact that they're not signing anybody. So what are they saying? So I have them send me screenshots, and I'm like, show me some different like messages that you've been sending. Send me a full potential customer message that went as far as like any of your messages have gone, but they didn't sign up. And I see like what they're doing wrong in responding to people. I'm like, see, you did this. Like, I wouldn't do that. I would do this. And I say it in a very loving way, not like, are you trying to send this? Like, you big dummy. You know, just like, it's like,
what do you feel like the most common mistake like you're coaching your team on is?
They give them the what's the word? They like give them the I don't know what word I'm trying to think of. Basically, like if somebody's like, oh, okay, cool, I'll think about it. They're like, okay, let me know. No.
They give them the control.
Control. I don't know why I couldn't think of the word control, but yeah, they're giving them the control. And so like they're not taking charge of that conversation and being professional. So that's like the biggest thing that I see with my team just overall. Every single person has different strategies of how they do stuff, but you have to take control of the conversation. So that's one thing is I'll ask them how many people are messaging. Sometimes it's not enough. And then if it is truly enough, then it's probably what you're saying. And if you're saying all the right things and you're messaging enough people, are you doing follow-ups? Because unfortunately, the follow-ups, you can message all these people every single day, but if you're not following up with them, they're probably not going to sign up. And so talk to them about that. So just kind of take them through step by step. Are you doing this? Are you doing that? And a lot of times I ask them questions where they don't know if the correct answer is yes or no, so they can't lie to me. So I'll be like, you know, oh, are you doing your follow-ups like in the morning or at night? Which, I mean, that's just like a random thing. That's not like a right or wrong answer, but that's one of the things. They're like, at night. And I'm like, no, that's not right. That was just a joke. That was an example. You can do your follow-ups at night. But like, so just different stuff, like just trying to literally dissect. Because I do care about my team. Like, I think a lot of people just think that, you know, oh, I'll just give them a quick answer and like let them go. But I really do try to take time to sit down with them and figure out what it is.
Yeah, for sure. And one thing, like I always ask my team too, like, what are you doing for self-development? That's like the first question I ask my team. Okay.
Follow-ups, yeah.
How do you feel like your post, like, how do you decide like what to post? Like this was a question that somebody asked, like to attract the right people. Like, what do you feel like when you started? Like, what advice would you give to yourself that you've learned about like how to post? Like, what strategy you do for posting? Like, do you post around the same time every day? You know, how do you come up with what posts you make, etc.?
I use the what to post or when to post. I say what to post. It's the when to post app, and it tells you when to post. So I go by that for times of the day. But I usually try to post my story or somebody on my team's story every single night, no matter what my when to post says. Because I feel like I get so many distributors or potentials whenever I post a story at night, because everybody's scrolling through their phones the night before they go to bed. What are they thinking about? How, like, either finances or how much they don't want to wake up tomorrow morning and go to work. So then you're posting your story about this life and how amazing your life is and how stress-free it is and how you don't have to have an alarm tomorrow. Or even if you are at work, talk about how you're going to be able to quit your job, or that you're making $500 a month and you don't have to lay in bed at night worrying about, you know, how you're going to pay bills or whatever. But one thing that I've been doing lately is with potential distributors is if I'm talking to somebody and they tell me a reason that they're nervous to join, that'll be my next post. And so like if they're like, oh, I'm just really nervous because I'm so busy. I'm like, okay, well, you're not too busy, and I'll tell them why. And then my next post will be about how I can do this business on a really busy schedule and how whenever I joined, I was so busy all the time. So whatever their excuse is, that'll be what my next post is about. And then otherwise, I just kind of do whatever is off the top of my head. But I don't do the, oh my gosh, join right now. $99 to start, $5,000 bonus. Like, you sound like a car salesman trying to like sell me an ad, you know, like that's, nobody wants to join your team to fill your positions for your dream team. So sorry, but nobody cares about you that much. Like, they just don't. Nobody on Instagram is gonna be like, oh, I want to be a part of her dream team. Like, they don't. And I used to post those all the time, but like, nobody cares. They want to hear about your life story, and they want to hear about how this business is helping you. So make it more real and genuine, and talk about, this business changed my life because now, I was on food stamps, now I'm not, or I was a broke college student, now I'm not, I was a working mom, now I'm a stay-at-home mom, whatever it is. So I literally just whatever pops off the top of my head is what I just start writing. And I think those are the best posts sometimes, is because it's literally what's on your heart. You don't try to be perfect. You don't try to make sure that you say the right words. You just literally tell people, you give people a piece of you, and they relate to that and they feel that coming through the post. So yeah.
What time do you post your stories at night?
Whatever.
Yeah. Okay. What would you do if $100,000 hit your bank account tomorrow?
I would pay off all my debt. I would pay off, I already know the exact amounts too, but I would pay off Derek's credit cards, his car, my car, and then I would buy a house. So that's all of it, pretty much.
What are those like your current goals?
Yeah.
That's what I was going to ask next. What's the biggest risk you've ever taken?
Oh gosh. I don't know.
You got to answer it.
Can we come back to that one?
Yeah. How do you choose who you work with, like on your chart?
I'll work with absolutely anyone who's working.
Like, what qualities do you look for as far as like for me, I look for people that I can always get a hold of. Like, I cannot work with somebody that takes 4 days to call me back. Like somebody that I feel like, has leadership qualities that I'm looking for, that can take like leadership off my plate, or that can take enrollments off my plate, or something like that. Like, do you look for any specific things that somebody is doing when you say work, or are you just thinking like people who are enrolling?
No, it doesn't have to be a strong enroller, because I know some of my like top leaders on my team are not mass enrollers, but they have good leadership qualities. And so that's what I saw in that person, and I was like, let's run. And so, I mean, I'll work with anybody, but it's literally the same thing for me, I guess. I just never really thought about it like that. But anytime I'm like, they're a leader, it's either because they're a strong enroller or because they text me every single day asking questions or telling me about their charts or updating me on their potentials. Like, they're like 3 months in and they're like, I just talked to a customer, she's about to get the hair, skin, nails. I'm like, I love you, like, you're amazing. And so just somebody that updates me, that cares, just stuff like that.
What is the easiest way that you can explain like your charting strategy?
Oh gosh. So
like, do you work like one leg at a time, and like how do do you build like rubies?
My chart's a hot mess, I'm just gonna tell y'all. I mean, it's a great chart, but like, I don't really know what my strategy ever is, to be honest with you. I just always have my chart out for my next promotion. So for me right now, it's ambassador, because presidential is like more than full. Like, I'm already blocked in and then some. So I don't need to build any more of my press chart. So I'm looking at ambassador. I'm like, okay, what am I going to need for ambassador? And so I start building there. So whenever I was a triple, I started building for presidential. Derek's going to be my triple for presidential. So I started building 2 new legs under him, because there was just no leadership on the other side of that leg. So I just grabbed 2 people. I grabbed one person and brought her up, and then I enrolled another person. And what I do like to do, though, with my enrollers, or like people that I enroll, is I'll look at them and think, okay, like, are they a leader for any of those qualities that we just talked about? And if I can see that in them immediately, which I feel like the longer you're in this business, you kind of can, and some of y'all even now can, but I just try to look for those people who I know are going to work hard. And sometimes they don't. Sometimes I feel like they're going to be freaking amazing, and then they don't do anything. But I work with the people who really show me leadership. And so what I try to do is then fill in the leadership boxes. under that person.
So like if we're building an emerald, you fill in the rubies, you fill in the executives, you know. Okay.
And so, and I don't know, like, compensation plan wise, but I feel like that helps you because, I mean, I know a lot of Kelsey's, like, leaders are they personally enrolled to you?
Yeah, a lot of
like,
them.
Yeah, like, I mean, all my diamonds except one, most of the emeralds except a few, you know, like all the like top leaders on my team, just about, are personally enrolled to me. And that's why Kelsey and I are consistently in the top income earners, is because of, like, even though we're triples, we are using those people that we sign personally as our leaders, and you'll start learning about generational bonuses with diamonds. And so I really see like dollar signs in my head whenever I see diamonds, because I know that helps me, that helps them, there's bonuses on the line for them. And so I just try to put people in leadership positions and then let them kind of fill in everywhere else.
Yeah, like what I typically try to do is, like, let's say I'm just building a ruby, like I put the executive there and then I build that executive instead of building wide, because I feel like, let's say that person quits or something happens with them, then I can just pull up the executive who already has like one or two people under them. Because I think sometimes we put all of our eggs in one basket and we're just building this one person really wide, when it helps if you build them like deeper, because then you have a better like strategy when you have to pull them up and you're not just like randomly picking a person that you have to work with. So I think that that's super smart. Okay, hold on. Let's see if I have, how do you like create urgency or get distributors to sign quickly, and not, you know, have so much time to think about it? Because I feel like, you know, the longer people wait, the less likely they are to actually sign. So what do you do to kind of create that urgency?
So I usually say, it kind of depends on our conversation, but I'll message them. They'll be interested. I'll tell them the info. And it's funny because we have like this joke on my team where, like, if we're sending them a message, we're like, you know, hey, give me a product model. Whatever they respond back, we just always say, great, they're all natural it works products. Sometimes they'll be like, can I see all of the ingredients and a list of every single like testimony that you have? We're like, they're all natural it works products. And so we just have like a joke. So like anytime we ask each other something, we're like, they're all natural it works products. But anyway, so I keep it super simple, basically is what I'm trying to say. Cassie, I was literally referring to you. So we keep it super simple. Like, no matter what they ask, I know what I'm going to respond back. And if they're like, oh, cool, let me think about it, I'm like, great, let me go ahead and give you the information so that you at least know what you're thinking about. They're all natural it works products. And so I tell them, because like, how are they going to think about it? They don't even know what they're thinking about. And so then after that, they'll tell me what they're interested in. Then I'll tell them about the products. Then I'll say, okay, cool, well, I'll think about it. I'll say, okay, great. Well, spots are filling fast, or, you know, okay, great. Well, I'm placing orders now. Then here's the 90-day challenge. So with the 90-day challenge, you get a product. Like, I just know exactly what I'm going to say. No matter what they say, I'm like, okay, great. And then they're like, okay, let me think about it. I'm like, great. Can I check in with you tomorrow? Like, what all do you need to think about? It's hair, skin, and nails. What could you possibly need to think about for longer than 24 hours? And so I'm like, so then I check in with them, and then they, will say yes or they'll say no. But I usually, it was crazy because a girl today reached out to me who said like, okay, well, I'll think about it. Well, y'all already know. If I have to end the conversation with her saying, okay, well, I'll think about it, I'll say, okay, fine. Because like she's already said it like 3 times and I just keep telling her more information. She's like, okay, I'm just going to think about it. I'll say, okay, great. I'm going to follow up with you on whatever day. Well, she followed up with me today because I kept posting about weight loss. And then I talked about how so many girls were ordering weight loss for me because I had 2 other girls order. She ordered it tonight, and she was one of those people that was like, I don't want to order. Actually, another girl that ordered for me today was one of those people. They were like, I'm going to think about it. Or they told me no. And then because I was like, okay, well, spots are filling really fast. And then they saw me posting that other people were ordering. They were like, crap. Okay, I'm ready. Like, she was like, are you placing any more orders? I was like, yeah, I can add yours in. And so then I did. And like, I don't know. I guess I just tell them like spots are filling faster. Like I just take control of the situation instead of that. Like I think a lot of people, if they're like, okay, well I'll think about it. You're like, okay, let me know. Heck no. I'm like, okay, perfect. You can think about it and I will talk to you in an hour. Not really, but like tomorrow, or like I'll tell them what day I'm going to follow up with them to expect it.
Yeah, I love that. What about for distributors?
For distributors, I'm not as pushy because I don't want them to rush into something that's going to like take their time and my time and they're not even serious about it. So honestly, if distributors are like, let me think about it, I do say, okay, that's fine. And then I check in with them after like 2 or 3 days. Did I freeze?
No.
Okay. But
I actually haven't frozen once today.
I know. And it's not freeze. I am not. Yeah, so I just let them think about it and then I'll follow up with them like after 2 or 3 days and just check in and say, you know, what do you think and what questions do you have? And then we always have a Sunday night party, like an online party for our team. And so then worst comes to worst, if they're like, well, I'll think about it. I'm like, hey, I know you're still thinking about it, but let me invite you to this online party. And so that's a really great way to tie it back into it. And a lot of times they'll go to that and they'll sign up immediately afterwards. So that's kind of how I seal the deal, but I'm not as pushy with distributors.
Yeah. Okay. And then do you have any phrasing that you really like to use for like upgrading LCs to DP?
A lot of my customers come to me before the end of their 3 months. Most of them are on here. They're like, yeah, I didn't even get my products in and I'm already a distributor. Like they like sign up immediately after they order. But some of them will come to me because I do create a good relationship with them as they're becoming a customer. And then after they're a customer, I check in with them after 2 days. I check in, make sure they got their product. So then they like are talking to me multiple times throughout the next 2 weeks. And so if it's somebody that I'm reaching out to them, which I've done with a lot of my distributors too, is I'll say, it's like been 3 months. So on their 3 month, I'll say, you know, I know you're loving the product so much and you're already telling all your friends about it. So even if I don't know that they are, we just do. Like it just is natural. Like if we like anything, we're telling our friends about it. So I'm always like, you know, oh my gosh, like I love that you're loving your product so much and you're already telling your friends about it. So have you ever thought about doing this with me to earn extra money for telling your friends about it? Like it's seriously so easy. And then they're like, oh my gosh, like I haven't ever thought about it, but like, would you tell me more? And then I'll tell them, or they'll say like, I actually have been thinking about it, but I was scared I wouldn't be good at it. And then we'll talk about it. So a lot of them have thought about it. And if they haven't, they are open to it because they're already using the products. And so do I, but I get paid for it and they don't.
Yeah. Okay. I don't think I have any more questions. I'm going to go through the chat too and see what people ask. Okay. Do you have advice for male DTs who are new?
Sorry, I'm just looking at this. I mean, the biggest thing is to be confident, I think, because a lot of guys come in thinking, you know, okay, like there's not very many guys in this. Like, I don't know. I'm not a dude, so I don't know. But like, I feel like maybe you could be self-conscious about that or just like not feel super confident in the products that we have because there are so many supplements that guys can use. So just be confident knowing that our products are absolutely amazing, that we have the best all natural ingredients, that our products give amazing results. And just don't try to fit into whatever like bubble you think that you need to be in. Like be yourself. If you're like, I don't know, just let your personality show through your social media and just talk to people how we talk to them, just same exact way except for make it you, just like we all make it ourselves too. So I don't know, I guess that would be my biggest thing, is just to be confident and be yourself.
Yeah, one thing that I would give advice to is like, don't think that it's that different because you're a guy. But what I always do is like, so if there's like an elephant in the room, like you think somebody's like feeling a certain type of way about like, okay, like for instance, what we do is unconventional. And a lot of people don't know about it. So like, I'll make a post and be like, I know what we do is unconventional. And I'll like speak the elephant in the room before they have to, or before somebody can say something. I even do this in potential conversations. So like, when I'm explaining my story, I always give like some common objections that I'm already overcoming before they say it. So when I'm speaking my story, I'm like, 3 of the reasons that I joined was, number 1, because I'm not a salesperson, but we have products nobody else has. And so I'm not selling it. So like, I'm already rebuttaling even before they say it, but I'm sharing my experience with it. And so one thing you could do is be like, I know I'm a male in a women dominated industry, but I saw so much potential. And so like, kind of call out the elephant in the room. If you think people are saying like, oh my gosh, he's a male, why is he doing this? And call it out and tell them why you're doing it. Because I think that will like tell a lot of people more about you, and like, you'll be able to open up about your journey, and don't be ashamed of that. Okay. The opinions on Jessica Pearson, who doesn't jump people when they like her stuff, not cold messaging, etc., but waiting people to come to you. What's your opinion on that? Yeah, here's the thing. I think that some people are unicorns and they say that that works for them, and that's fine. But to me, to be honest, I don't think you're going to get there the fastest way. And there is a way to message people and not be pushy, not be annoying, but still offer the products to them. And I'm not going to prejudge anybody. And so if somebody doesn't want it, I'm going to respect that. But I'm also not going to not ask something that I know could help them. And I feel like if you have the confidence in the products, and like I said, call out the elephant in the room. I always say like, oh my gosh, this is so random. And I don't think I'm a complete creep, but I just had to tell you that like, I love your page. So that way, if people do think I'm creepy, I'm already acknowledging, hey, I'm kind of normal, because I'm already telling you that you could possibly think I'm creepy, but I'm really not. So I think that we have to like figure out what works for us. And know that you're not going to get there as fast as you would if you don't message people. What else do you want to say, Morgan?
That's basically it. I think that the biggest thing though is you have to take tips, because there's a lot of them, all with a grain of salt, even the ones that we're telling you right now. And you have to figure out, like what Kelsey said, what works best for you. And you also have to weigh those tips against the results that that person is getting. And so I'm going to take Jade Hooper and I'm going to look at her, tips. And I'm going to look at someone who joined the business but has been a distributor for 16 years and has never gone executive. And I'm going to look at their tips a little bit differently, because there's a little bit more weight, not because Jade Hooper's an ambassador, and I mean, that's the only people that you can listen to, but I'm saying her tips probably have more weight to them because of the fruit that I'm seeing from the tips that she's giving. Another thing too is, like what Kelsey said pretty much, is like, I feel like I would be selfish not to share this opportunity. And if there is a mom laying in her bed right now, a single mom or whatever, praying to God for somebody to come along and to help her, or for God to just send something that will change her life, and I have this opportunity and I just wait for her to come to me and just hold it to myself and hope that she just reaches out to me, I feel like that's selfish of me not to share it. So I always want to help people and share the opportunity if I can.
Yeah, for sure. This person asked, if we started less than a month ago, what do I say to get distributors? Because I can't say I'm making so much money yet.
Okay, so I think the biggest thing that I want to touch on first is with new distributors, what we always usually get is the question, and this isn't like towards you or anybody in particular, I'm just saying, I know with a lot of my girls I've been working with who are really new, just all in my downline, a lot of them have said, how do I get DTs? How do I get DTs? How do I get DTs? And with that, like the statement of that is why you're not signing anybody. Because if your mindset is how do I get distributors, that's totally being like taking the focus off of them. And instead of saying, how can I get distributors, ask yourself, whose life can I change today? And it really does make all the difference, not only in your posts, but in the way that you message people, they're going to see that. Like, there's like a different vibe that you put out when you're trying to get DTs versus trying to help change somebody's life. There really is a difference, and they're going to sense the difference if there is one. And so I think changing your mindset, not saying that whoever wrote this was asking that question, but just while
Oh, she froze.
I know my team is, it's not.
Oh, you're good now. I don't know. You're good now.
Okay. So, I don't remember what I was saying. Oh, but anyways, and so then I think if you're a new distributor, talk about what this business is going to do for you. And don't discount the small things that it already has done for you. I think a lot of times people think that, oh, well, I can't talk about the business until I've paid off so much debt and I've earned X amount of bonuses and I've, bought a Lamborghini. And that's like when I'll start talking about what this business has done for me. But guess what? If you don't start talking about what this business has done for you now, you'll never get to the point where you're doing all of those things that you're waiting to happen before you'll start talking about the business. It's a catch-22. You'll never get there if you have to wait for that to happen. So start talking right now about how it's paying for your gas money. We just got paid today. I don't care if your commissions check was $15 or if it was $1,500. Talk about what that $15 is going to do for you. You don't have to tell them the amount. You just let them know, hey, gas money's taken care of for this month. That's one less thing that I have to worry about. Guess what I joined for? Gas money. I did not join for a sports car or a $600,000 house. I never joined for those things, and most people don't. You probably didn't either. You probably joined for $100 a month or $1,000 a month, something really small just to help you get by. And so by you doing those things and showing them that that's what this business is doing for you already, that's what's going to attract them. Because Kelsey and I, if you notice, like, we'll talk about the money a little bit, but we never tell anybody how much money we make because it's not believable. People can't believe that you can really actually make that much money. And so it honestly puts us at a disadvantage because people can't relate to that. What people can relate to are the things that we talk about the most, and it's with her being able to stay at home with her kids. People can relate to that. It's me being able to, buy gas or groceries without having to put them on a credit card anymore. Doing little things like this, paying for a wedding with, in cash, not taking out a loan for that or whatever people do. I didn't have to do that. And so that's something that people can relate to. That's crazy, but believable. And so don't miss the small things, but then talk about where you're going. People want to follow somebody that knows where they're going. And so if you talk about, with this business, I'm going to be able to do this. This is why I joined. This is what it's done for me so far, whether it's just making friends. Like, I've just made so many new friends and I'm so thankful. But this business is going to literally allow me to quit my job 40 years early because I'm going to be able to, do this and this. Whatever goals you have, that's what you need to start sharing with people. Even us now, if you notice mine and Kelsey's posts, we don't talk about just what it's done for us because nobody cares. Like, then they're going to be like, well, why are you still doing it? Like, cool. Like, you got to stay at home with your kids. Well, I guess that's different because that's why you're still doing it. But, like, for me, they're like, okay, cool. You paid for school in cash. Like, that's why you joined this business. So, like, why are you still doing it? But I'm telling them what I'm going to do with it now. My goals are constantly changing. So no matter what rank you are, you always have to tell them what you're going.
Sorry. I was like, I don't know why it wouldn't let me click. But one of the things that I just want to add to that is don't get in your head about that, because I think like everybody kind of starts out and they're like, oh my God, all these people have these amazing stories and I don't have a story yet. But your story is why you joined. That's the most important part of your story, is why you started this business and what you want it to do for you, just like Morgan was saying. But nobody joins to make you money. They join to make themselves money. And if you show them that you can help make them money, then they're going to want to join this business. It's not about them like wanting to make us money. They don't need that. So they don't care about that. So they don't care how much money you make. They don't care how much. Now, does that inspire them sometimes? Absolutely. But talk about how it paid for a $5 Starbucks drink that normally you wouldn't be able to afford. Talk about the small things like she was saying, because guess what? There's people out there that cannot afford that. There's people out there that can't afford to put a full tank of gas in their gas tank. There's people out there that can't afford groceries, just like Morgan was saying, and they have to put it on their credit card. They can't afford their light bill. They can't afford their gas bill. So you have to realize that they're not joining to make you money. They're joining to make themselves money. And if you show them, even if it's other people's stories, that you can help them do this and that you want to help them do this and that you're not going anywhere. The problem is a lot of people that join this business is they join based on a contingency that they're going to stay only if they're super successful in whatever that is. And when you join on that contingency, right, and people think that you might quit, what happens is that they don't trust you with them to help them with the business. Okay. So it's so important that you kind of just have like, I'm going to do this. I'm doing this no matter how long it takes me, and sticking with it, because when God can trust you with a little bit, he's going to be able to trust you with so much more. And so don't have that mindset. Just have the mindset of I'm going to help as many people as I can, just like she said. Okay. Do you want to add anything else before we hop off here? Was there anything you want to talk about? Wanted to ask me?
I don't think so. I'm making sure we answer like all the questions. Advice for getting customers. There's actually a video that Kelsey and I did on her YouTube. If you want to check that out, it's literally how I sign customers.
Do you guys ever post or say something about the people who doubt you?
I don't even give them the time of day. I don't even give them cannot think of words today. I don't even give them like that
satisfaction.
I don't even give them the satisfaction. And because I don't want people to be turned away by being like, oh, she has a lot of haters, because like I feel like I had more haters than a normal person. So for me to talk about like all the people who hated what I was doing, they would be like turned off by that. So I don't personally do that. I just kind of let them see it for themselves whenever they start seeing them paychecks rolling in, when they start seeing me paying off my debt, when they start seeing all these things, they know now. They already know. And they've apologized for being haters. And some of them have joined my team or become customers. So I just don't even give them the satisfaction or let them know that they're getting to me. I don't act like they don't even matter. I act like they don't even like cross my mind.
Yeah. And I think too that like, it can scare people off to be like, oh my gosh, you get haters, or, oh my gosh, I don't want to like do that. But I do think that it is important to talk with your team about how to handle it, after people have already joined, and to be honest and upfront, like when people join, that like, you know what, there are going to be people who are negative, but let's focus on all the positive this is going to do for you. Because that's super important that you're realistic and you teach people how to react if and when that does happen. And I do think that it is important to kill them with kindness. Like it's not something that, the more you give it to them, the more it's just going to egg them on to say more because they know it's affecting you. So I just kind of try to stay away from it. And even if people make negative comments on my post, I just delete it. I mean, nobody has time for that. Do you do any parties, Morgan, or are you completely social media?
I try to do parties. I literally, I've done parties before. I did a launch party by myself. I did for girls that are local that wanted to do parties. That's like how they wanted to build their business. But I've tried so hard to stinking sign a party, like get a party booked, and it is just not happening. Like yet. I've not been able to. So I mean, honestly, social media, like I've tried everything. I've even tried, doing like events, handing out stuff like little goodie bags for trick-or-treaters at Halloween. Like nothing gets me as many customers and distributors as social media. And that's just what I'm good at, and that's okay. I think that we should all be like dabbling in a little bit of everything, but that you need to find what you're good at and spend 90% of your time doing it. So that's what I do with social media. And I'll go to a party or I'll do parties, but that's not how I build my business. And people on my team do, but not me personally. I know how to throw a party. I know how to help them do that, but that's not how I do it. So like, I think it's important to do it all so that you know how to help your team do all of it so that if somebody says, hey, I want to throw parties, you're not like, but we do online parties. I love online parties, like Facebook parties. We do those every single Sunday night.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's all the questions I have, unless you want to add anything, or you, want to mention anything about, what it takes to promote, and what you do during promotion month. I think that would be helpful.
Say that again. I think you froze.
Oh, just like what it takes to promote and what you do during promotion month.
So during promotion month, you don't really sleep very much. I usually meal prep too, so that I don't really even have to cook every single meal. I have like all my meals made for like 3 days straight, and I just eat those meals. You just really dedicate your time, and I know that not everybody can put all their time and effort into this. They have kids or school or work, but whenever you are working your business, be 100% there. And whenever you're not working your business, be 100% wherever you are. So like if you're with your kids, be 100% there. But when it's time to work, it's time to work. And you're not, watching Netflix too. You're not being distracted by other things. Like you're 100% intentionally focused on your business. So I think that's like the biggest thing is whenever you do have time to do the business, make that a priority, make time for your business, and be 100% in your business at those times.
Yeah, I love that. I do love that. I think it's a lot about working smarter and not necessarily harder, but, talking to the more and more people, like challenge yourself. And my thing is like, I'd always rather have an oops than a what if. Like, oops, I didn't get to my promotion, but I worked my butt off and I'm a lot closer than I would have been if it didn't happen. Or then what if I just would have worked harder? Like don't ever sell yourself short or, live in regret of not working hard enough, because you'll never regret working hard. Like you just won't, but you'll always regret not working hard enough. And this momentum that we have now, you're going to regret not working harder during it, because when the momentum goes away, you're going to be like, dang, what happened? And so you're never going to regret, doing it. And I always tell people, like, you can make an excuse or you can make a difference, but you can't have both. And it's just important that you kind of make your priorities for that month and communicate what needs to be done. So Morgan, this was like a lot longer than I expected it to be, but I appreciate you spending time. And I didn't ask you any crazy questions.
I didn't know what question you were referring to, so.
Oh my gosh, I love you. Thank you for pouring into everybody, and we'll chat soon.